you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's 183.
Uh-huh.
0.6.
Right.
So did you already know that?
Yeah.
Did they call you?
No, I just
I
saw it
didn't.
on the app.
Oh, okay. I thought, somebody beat me to it. So
No.
It's 678. It hasn't really, it should be a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, I kind of knew that.
Yeah, it really should. He wants you to repeat it on the 22nd. So
Okay.
we've put in an order. You can call sometime and schedule and just repeat it on the 22nd.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll see. Yeah, I just don't know. It's pretty guarded. So.
Yeah, I know. That's where I'm at.
All right, hon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so let me fill you in on what is happening. So I think my last video showed my first beta, and I didn't seem too excited, but I was, but I'm just cautiously optimistic on things, right? So my first beta was 94.7. Should be 100 and above, but it's still a really good number, is what I learned. But I was still like, I'm on the lower end. So then I go and I do my second beta, and that was 3 or 4 days later, 3 days later, and it went up to 183.6. So they were really like, And here's me, I'm like, heck no. I had a 93.3 or 93.6% increase. So everything I read on Google was like, that's great. But my fertility clinic was like, we like to see a little higher. And I was like, it's totally fine. Like, I am totally happy with those numbers. Again, with the cautious side. I don't even know if I'm going to show that video because it was such a Debbie Downer. But my sweet nurse, they see this every day, so I get it. So then I had to do my third beta, and that was the following Monday. So my first one was on a Monday, my second one was on a Thursday, and then my third one was on a Monday. So that gave 4 days. So that put me at 20 days post-transfer on my third one, and my numbers did not rise like anyone wanted. I went from 183 to 227, so that wasn't good at all. Okay, so it went from 227 was yesterday, so that's obviously not good because the numbers needed double again. So, and it had been 4 days, so I would say it needed to be around 400, and that's just not the case. Well, double would have been 48 to 72 hours, and that was around 366, and then there was an extra day, so I don't know, 366 to 400, anywhere somewhere is what I assumed. So I said, okay, well, what do we do from here? And she said that my doctor suggested that I come in Friday to do blood work and ultrasound to see what's going on, because he didn't think I would want to do anything before Christmas. Today is the 23rd, so, and that was yesterday. So I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do Friday, so that it gives 4 more days for hopefully the numbers to jump at a good rate or whatever, and just give it 4 more days. And so that's what we scheduled. Well, then yesterday, later afternoon, early evening, when I went to the restroom and TMI, I wiped, there was fresh blood. Not a lot, not heavy, but there was blood. And I was like, great, no, I'm just having the miscarriage. Like, I'm starting it. I can't have a full-blown miscarriage until I stop the medication. I was like, all right, so, and then every time I'd use the restroom, same thing. There was a little bit of spotting every time. So then this morning I woke up and same thing, and it seemed like even a little bit more had happened. And so I texted my nurse and I told her what's going on and asked her, should I come in today instead of waiting till Friday? And they said, yes, absolutely, come in. So I just left there with not good news at all. We're kind of hinting that it could be ectopic, but you know, you never know until you get in there and look. So the other nurse did my ultrasound and she goes, oh dang it, like I don't see anything in your uterus. I don't see a gestational sac. Like there's nothing there. Your uterine lining is 21 whatever, which is really good. Like it's supposed to be really thick. And it is. So, but there's just nothing. And I've seen enough ultrasounds to know that there was nothing there. So now they're all freaking out because they also looked around my uterus. I mean, well, yes, that, but my ovaries, and she said, usually your ovaries or your tubes or whatever are swollen when it's an ectopic. But I'm also really early that it may not show that yet. So, long story short, they did my beta again today and 2 other vials of blood to check something. And they're all pretty much expecting it to be an ectopic pregnancy. My doctor said all I can say is this pregnancy is not normal. So if I get even the slightest cramping, like on just one side, or like back pain or fever, nausea, vomiting, anything of that, then I need to go straight to the ER, because this could be life-threatening if I ignore it. And I definitely ignore things, so but she also said that I'm early enough because I'm 5'4", which is 5 weeks and 4 days. She thought I was 6 and 5, which is 6 weeks and 5 days, which is where it's really dangerous because that's where it ruptures usually at that gestational age, which is bad. So she says if this is ectopic, then we at least have time to take different precautions than having to do surgeries and things like that. They have to give me something, oh gosh, I can't even remember the name. So I don't know, something that stops the cell growth and terminates the pregnancy. They did my beta to see if my numbers are staying the same or going down, and I actually already got my test results back and they have risen. So I don't know. I haven't gotten any test results back from whatever else they're looking for. And they told me, but the second they told me, it just like, I went into this other world. Like I just stopped listening. So that's where I'm at. My sweet nurse gave me a hug and I just started bawling and I lost it. She's like, you don't have to be tough, you don't have to, you know, she's like, just let it out, and just start crying. last night when I was in bed, I just cried till about midnight until I finally fell asleep. I wasn't praying for myself anymore. I wasn't saying, please save this baby, please give us what we want. You know, I wasn't saying that. I was just praying that my body can handle whatever it's about to go through. I told this little baby that, you know, if you need to go live back with Jesus, then I understand, and I am thankful that I got to be this baby's mom for 20 days or however long this baby will be there. I know my numbers rising isn't necessarily a good thing because there was no sac, so I can't exactly pray for a miracle that suddenly there's a sac there. I mean, I've done a lot of crying. A lot. And I'm sure once I get back to work, the waterworks will be on again. So, I guess from here we just wait. They're going to monitor me every day. I don't know if that means they're going to call me, they're going to check up on me, what that means, but I go back in Friday no matter what for another ultrasound and blood work. This sucks. So, yeah, I'm about to pull up to my work and I want to cry. I'm crying too much. But so I don't think there's going to be a happy ending to this one either. So I don't know what next steps are. I don't know when we'll be able to afford to do another one. I don't know. Okay, so today is Friday, December 26th. And I just left the fertility clinic, and my doctor actually did my ultrasound today. He couldn't find anything. I thought I saw at least a sac this time. There was a little tiny black dot, but so he said he can't find anything. He looked around my ovaries, the tubes, like everything that there is to look at. He looked everywhere. He did a 3D, he did 4D, he did everything. He just can't find it anywhere. And so he said there was, you know, a couple of options. One, we monitor it, and I come back in on Monday. But, well, that's before they do the blood work. Monitor it, come back in Monday, but he was nervous because I'm already, according to transfer day, I'm 6 weeks and 1 day. And if it's ectopic, that's where it gets scary. Between, you know, 6 and 6.5 weeks is where it can rupture wherever it's at. And so he was pretty nervous about doing that. But said that we could still do that. Second option was methotrexate, where it stops the cell development and terminates any cell growth, no matter where it is, whether it's in the uterus and we can't see it or outside. Third option was they could go in and scrape the uterus and kind of see if the pregnancy, if it is in the uterus, it just can't see it, or like if it was and it's already started to dissolve itself. obviously be good news at this point. But if it's not, then we still have to do the methotrexate, and we did my beta, and it did rise from 258 to 269. So, I mean, just barely. So, it's obviously not viable wherever it is. So, at this point, we have to consider my safety, the health of me. And so what we're going to do, because I've already got a lot of spotting since Monday night, we're going to stop all medication right now and hope that it resolves itself. I have the miscarriage, and then I come back in Monday, which last time it hit about 3 days, and which would be Monday, but but I just want to make sure like my numbers are going down at a safe rate after stopping the medication. So on Monday I'll do another HCG and go from there. So at this point, it looks like as long as everything's safe, it's going to be another miscarriage. So this is really hard. My husband's he's not good with dealing with his feelings and his emotions, and he's taken this pretty hard again. Believe me, I am too. I've not cried so much in my life than I think I have this last week. So if we have to do the methotrexate, then we have to wait at least 3 months before we can try again. But either way, we can't try again right now. We don't have it. It's just too expensive right now. So either way, it's not happening right now. But if I don't have to put that nasty medication into my body, then that's good. So anyway, so we'll keep you updated on that. Okay, let me go ahead and catch you up. So the last I updated was Friday, December 26th. My numbers were at 269, and they were talking about doing methotrexate, all the things. So we ended up just stopping all my medication, and hopefully we would see my numbers go down. So Monday rolls around, and even with the last transfer and miscarriage, it took a full 3 days of not being on the medication to start my cycle. I had very heavy bleeding. So Monday was day 3, but it usually was going to be like in the evening. So we hadn't gotten to that point yet, but I went in and got my beta and ultrasound again, and she said that she's like, holy moly, do you normally have heavy cycles? I was like, yep. And she's like, wow, because she showed me on the ultrasound, she's like, your lining is so thick, it is ready to just start. And then she even saw a possible clot that was in there, because my body's wanting to have a period, but when you're on the progesterone, you won't. So I've been spotting this whole time, which is a huge sign of ectopic. And the fact they can't find it anywhere is a huge sign of ectopic. But that doesn't mean that it is. I'm learning so much from all this now. And if it is ectopic, you can still have your period. And that basically has nothing to do with the growing fetus in your body that's in your body somewhere. So even if I have my cycle, that doesn't mean the baby's not growing still somewhere. So that's why it's very important. So anyways, let me back up. So I get my blood work back. So that was Monday morning. I go back to work. They call me and they're like, your numbers are still rising. I went from 269 to 344. Still really low rising, but it's rising. So at this point, I'm starting to have a little bit of side cramping. Nothing crazy, just side cramping. And with ectopic, it's a very low threshold. They don't risk anything. So they're like, it's definitely time to do the methotrexate. And I was just so torn up. I mean, losing the baby naturally is hard enough. But when you have to take something that terminates the baby, it's like, morally for myself, that's just really hard. And when that decision is no longer yours to make because of my safety, then makes it even harder. And it's not that I'm blind to the fact that this is dangerous and like if I don't take the medicine, this baby's gonna miraculously like survive. That's not what I'm saying. I know it wasn't viable, but just letting it naturally happen to me was, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, I guess more peace with it, because it was all God doing what needed to be done. But when you have to go in and that's pretty much your only option so that you're not in the hospital having surgery with an erupted ectopic pregnancy, which is very life-threatening. I mean, I get it. I understand that it's important. But leaving today, the reason I went in today is because, so I did the methotrexate on Monday. You have to go in 4 days later and get your beta done. And normally your numbers rise a lot. So they tell you don't freak out on that. Your numbers rise, but days 4 through 7 is the important days because it should go down by at least 15%. So if it's not doing that, then you have to go back in and get another shot. And I think repeat the process, and then you do weekly blood tests until the pregnancy is down to 0. But the reason I went in today is because the night before, so not last night, but the night before, well, the morning, so yesterday morning at 3 a.m., I started cramping really hard, like hard. And you know, on a normal case-by-case basis, they'd be like, get to the ER, but I know my body. I don't want to get into too many details, too much TMI. I'm sure you don't want to hear this, but when I did semaglutide almost 2 years ago, it screwed my bowels up, like screwed them up, and they've never been the same. And so I knew that's what it was. I knew it was my bowels acting up, and that's where the cramping comes from. And I'm like, it'll just be a couple of hours, and then my body will release, and I'll be okay. And that's exactly what happened. I got up at 3 in the morning and I had started my cycle and I had bled through an entire pad within an hour. So at 4 o'clock, I got up and I changed. And at this point, now I'm putting a Depend on with 2 pads. And within an hour, I bled through all of that. It was insane bleeding, like insane. And then by 5 o'clock, I got up to change again. I could be getting these wrong by an hour. I can't remember exactly the times, but I got up and changed, and that's when my bowels were like, okay, we're ready. So that happened. And then in the meantime, I felt this huge blood clot fall out of me. And after my bowels were released and my blood clot fell out, all the cramps went away. And even the heavy, I mean, it was like a faucet was on. It was crazy. After that came out, then even the super, super heavy bleeding stopped. It just became like a normal heavy period. So I knew I was fine. Like, I'm not worried about it. But I knew my clinic should know about it just in case something else happened, and I just kind of felt they should know. So I let them know. So they kind of freaked out, and they had me come in today and do blood work. So I haven't got that back yet, which it should go up. I'm not really worried about that. And the ultrasound, right when she looked, like you could see my uterus, and it was just all cleaned out, like all that blood that was in there from the day before was gone. And you could see that white line that they like to see. And it was nice and beautiful again, and just you could see my cycle was still going, but it was nothing crazy. So she seems to think, this is the PA, by the way, not the doctor, but she seems to think that this is a uterine whatever. So basically, the baby was in the uterus. And I had a feeling that, and I didn't need to take stinking medicine. And it's not because we can't try for 3 months. It's because that stuff stays in your body for 3 months, and it's just, ugh. So anyway, it is what it is. It's done. So I guess we'll find out what my blood work is and go from there. I don't really know what to expect from today's blood work because it should go up because of the medicine that's in me. But if it was a uterine miscarriage, then actually the numbers will have gone down. So she said we're not going to make any decisions on when to come back until we know what your numbers are today. So as far as all that goes, I guess the last update will be, well, maybe today. And then hopefully I'll be done going there and I'll be fine. I don't know. I'll probably still have to do blood tests until my pregnancy's down to 0, but yeah. So that's where we're at. Okay, really fast. I just got my results for my blood work. I knew I shouldn't have done the methotrexate. I knew it. I should have listened to my gut and just waited one more day. Dang it. Because my test results went from 344 to 72.4. So I guarantee you they're not going to have me come back maybe next Monday or something just to make sure that it's 0. But as far as right now goes, or maybe even Friday, to make sure that it's down to 0. So Yep. I just knew deep down that I didn't need to take the medicine. Whether it was ectopic or not, they think it was intrauterine, which is a miscarriage. So I don't think this was ectopic. They'll call me and tell me everything, so I guarantee you I won't be really updating anymore, because this one's definitely going to go down to 0. And now, unfortunately, even if we found the money to do another one, we can't do it for 3 months. But that's fine, because that's actually going to help us catch up on some bills, kind of make some breathing room, get some better headspace. 3 months to try to get a little healthier. So, and it kind of just be nice to not think about it for a couple months. So, all right. Thanks for watching.